So what's going on, folks? We're about to react to what we just saw here in about a few seconds. So sit back, watch the intro, and we'll get. All right. So we all saw it. Well, those of you that pay the 69.99 yearly annual subscription or pay the 6.99 annual subscription, you saw what happened. Honestly, the takeaway from it, I don't feel as bad as some may, to be honest, about how that unfolded. Because truth be told, like, we should, ooh, we should have won this game. Honestly, honestly, yes, it was there. Victory was there, to be honest with y'all. And it was just like, man, it was just like certain things they couldn't get out of their own way because it was a very sloppy first half. I think they probably just came out a little too excited and stuff to because I mean, look, you're playing inside of you're playing in the same stadium as the defending Super Bowl champs. You're playing in the same stadium that Tom Brady walks into every Sunday or every day, basically. And the juices can get flowing because of those little things like that. And quite honestly, I think that's what happened in the first half. But I came away very impressed after the second half. And honestly, someone brought it to my attention, you make those two field goals, that's an 8-point game at one point. And then honestly, too, you hope Chris Fadul's okay. I honestly do believe that hopefully the MRIs come back negative for him, and it's not what I think it is. Hopefully, but my goodness, I'm very impressed. I'm looking forward to SWAC play because I can tell you now, honestly, outside of Jackson State and USF, nobody in the SWAC has the horses that those two teams have. You're not going to see a USF, as sorry as USF is, because I don't believe that they're going to go going to Provo and win next week against BYU. I don't think they're going to win many games down the stretch. I don't even think they're going to beat SMU. And I still think, regardless of if Dylan Gabriel starts or whoever starts for UCF, I don't think USF wins that either. So I still don't think that anybody is going to be able to match what USF gave FAMU tonight. Nobody. Not Southern, not Grambling, definitely not Mississippi Valley, not Alabama A&M. I don't care what anyone says, and don't let anyone tell y'all differently. I don't see anyone giving FAMU as tough a game as that was tonight. And I give kudos because in the past, this team would have rolled over and just collected the check and just tucked their tails and gone back home. But quite honestly, they hung in there and they fought and they made a game of it. And honestly, a lot of people are going to look at that last play for USF where they ran it in and scored as, let's have gamesmanship and everything like that. But we have to remember too, on the other side of things, USF and Jeff Scott. Jeff Scott's fighting still to prove that he is the guy for USF. So he's trying to save his own hide. So that's what that's about. So, and I mean, heck, you have no problem about that. Honestly, if FAMU would have came away with a stop there, you would have felt pretty good about it. I would have felt even better. But I mean, honestly, I have no complaints, to be honest, about this is about how I said 42-17. It ended 38-17. I don't feel bad at all. I don't feel bad one bit. But I am looking forward to what's to come down the road because Rashawn McKay looks comfortable. Look at these numbers: 25 of 49, almost had a 300-yard night, had 248 yards passing. That's not bad. And he stayed in the game. He didn't even turn the ball over. He didn't throw any interceptions. They had one bad snap over the head, and then the handoff was kind of messy, but that's no interceptions on his record. He played a clean game. I'm just telling the truth. And then you had Terrell Jennings, 6 carries, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Averaged 15 yards a carry. That's impressive. Jalen McLeod, 10 carries, 61 yards. It felt like he had more than that. Xavier Smith, 15 receptions, 129 yards. David Manigo, 4 receptions, 54 yards. Both those guys, Manigo averaged 13.5 yards a catch. I came away very impressed. That defense, 13 consecutive games forcing a turnover. I came away very impressed with what I saw. And it's only going to get better. It really is. Because, look, your offense is slowly coming together. You saw spurts and pieces of what it's becoming tonight. You saw the defense doing what the defense does. Let me see if I actually still have that stat line, because the ESPN Plus showed a very interesting stat line tonight that not a lot of people are going to pay attention to. On the season, FCS points given up per game, 7. That is the 4th best in the FCS. Rushing yards, they've given up less than 100 rushing yards. Well, tonight they gave up 245 rushing yards, but I mean, that'll get better. Nobody else in the SWAC has the horses, like I said. 53 rushing yards, 9th in the FCS. 268 yards, 14th best defense in the FCS. 7 forced turnovers this season already. And I believe, 2 have already gone back for touchdowns? Or 1? One's already gone back for a touchdown? I don't feel bad at all. 13 straight games with a forced turnover. And this defense is going to be hungry to keep that trend going game after game after game. Because now, watch, I guarantee you they're going to force a turnover again when they play against Alabama State October 2nd. And then they're going to force another one. Oh, we got a comment here. Marquise Bell was a force tonight. Yeah, he was. He was. And honestly, guys, if you guys feel it, you guys want to chime in, leave a comment down below. Marquise Bell was a force tonight. And I don't know if anyone else saw it, but there was a stint. There was a point where it was 31-17. FAMU just needed a stop to force a 3rd down and possibly get a punt. And then they would have had a short field to work with going back the other way. And Marquise Bell came off the edge on a blitz, and he just slightly missed. And you were just like, oh, man. But if Marquise Bell had gotten home on that blitz, that play on it and that of itself flips the entire script of the game. The entire vibe of the game flips on that play alone if Marquise Bell gets home. But it is nice to know now that this team can dial up blitzes. They can get home. The potential is there. I think the Fort Valley game was just, trying to find your footing. This game, you came in with a purpose and heavily motivated to not even try to just collect the check, but win the game. And I was very impressed with what I saw tonight, even in defeat. Some people say sometimes you learn more from your losses than you do from your wins. This is one of those instances. We learned a lot from the losses. We see now that backfield has another horse in the stable, Jalen McLeod. He and Marquise Bell literally, one comes in the game, the other one comes out, and vice versa, and they're literally looking for guys to run over as they are making their way to the end zone. Literally. So this is an excellent problem to have. Usually, there's a lot of people. I usually sit here and you criticize and look at stuff, and you're saying things like, only if this had been better and if this had been better. I can't say that tonight. I really can't, because there were so many good signs. And I mean, look, honestly, I didn't pick FAMU to win tonight. I know some guys, some of the guys did, and that's fine. But I mean, dude, I'm impressed. I'm impressed, honestly. Really, if you look at as far as kick return yards, and Jamar Shareed, two kickoff returns, 65 yards. There was one that looked like it could have came back to the house tonight. Honestly, Chris Fadul, before he went out, he had one punt that landed inside the 20. 3 total punts, 128 yards. Jose Ramirez. FAMU only punted twice after Chris Fadul went out. Twice. Which tells you that offense was moving the ball pretty well. And that I wouldn't say this wide receiving core is not living up to its hype yet. Because I mean, look, there's growth happening. They're gonna come together after this bye week, and it's gonna be even better. Alabama State better be ready. They better be ready. Because that's gonna be a huge coming out party if FAMU stays locked in, dialed in, and focused. It is. I'm just saying it now. And then South Carolina State, there's so much to fight for in that game. FAMU's never beaten Buddy Pugh before in Tallahassee. And then you have to factor in the other thing too. FAMU hasn't beaten South Carolina State inside Bragg since 1998. So again, there's a lot of motivation coming into these next two games. And your team is slowly coming together and showing what it can be right before your eyes. So there is a lesson to be learned here tonight. Of course, like I said, everybody wants to win the game and everything like that. That's what you look for. That's why you play the game and stuff. But it wasn't to be tonight, and I see so much potential. There's so much potential just getting ready to just explode and make its force felt. And honestly, too, I think hopefully if Savion Williams can win his appeal with the NCAA and be granted this year to play, then I think definitely you have something to work with, because that keeps you even fresher at the defensive end position. So, I mean, look, that's my takeaway from it. But I would definitely say, even in defeat, Xavier Smith deserve, and even heck, Rashawn McKay and Marquise Bell, all three of those guys deserve game balls. Give every single one of those guys game balls, because they definitely earned it. They definitely earned it. Man, honestly, that's my primary main takeaway from tonight, honestly. But if y'all have any more questions, really just, chime in, type it in the bottom line, or type it in the comment section, and I'll gladly read it. But I mean, that's my main takeaway tonight, honestly. Also too, FAMU held Timmy McClain to one touchdown pass. He barely had 50 yards rushing tonight. So I mean, Rashawn McKay actually outperformed Timmy McClain. That's actually something as I look at these numbers, Rashawn McKay actually outperformed Timmy McClain. So honestly, the winning quarterback wasn't even really the better quarterback on the field tonight, which is something else you can take away from this. And also, too, if you look at the second half, FAMU really matched USF point for point. If you just go based on the second half numbers, FAMU really just is in a tie with USF 14-14. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff to take away from this game. Don't look at it as just like a loss and collecting a check. There's a lot of good stuff to take away from this game. So, where do you go from here? You go into the bye week. You go into the bye week, you get healthy, you recuperate, you regroup, you start breaking down you have 2 weeks worth of film to prepare. Is Willie is Willie Simmons calling offensive plays? Ooh. Um, I don't really know. I feel actually, you know what? And I'm going based off of what Coach Black said in the podcast when he was with us, and also off of what a lot of interviews where Coach Simmons said was basically repeating the same thing had said. So with that, I think what it is Ryan Stanchek, who's the offensive line coach, and KJ Black, who is the quarterback's coach, and they're both co-offensive coordinators. I think they're both discussing what looks like what. And then I guess when they design the play call, they send it out to Rashawn McKay. And I guess, and of course, Willie Simmons is on the headset, so he hears everything. So I think honestly, that's how that's going down. So I would say I think it's a collaboration of all three, but I think someone in that group has the final say of what the offense runs, in my opinion. But that's actually a really good question. That is a really good question. And I think honestly, with the bye week, that'll become more fluidly done, because I think that might have been a little bit of the problem week one and stuff. Trying to have like three guys determine what the play is going to be. I hope that's really not what it was, but I think it's gotten better and everything's starting to like flow more smoothly as the weeks progress. So, like I said, in time, it's going to get better. It's going to. I saw a more looser team in the second half, and even in parts of the first half, and that's what you're going to see going forward. How did USF look overall? Oh boy. Oh boy. I know Flash is very curious to hear about this. I'm going to be honest with you. USF overall, my takeaway from USF is this. USF still has a lot of work to do. Because honestly, if you're USF, you were supposed to win this game by a lot more. Just if I'm a USF, I'm putting in the eyes of a USF fan, you should have won this game by a lot more. And if you're a USF fan, there is no excuse for the fact that this game should have been 31-17 with 28 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. There is no excuse for that. But at the same time, too, like I said, Jeff Scott did what he did because he's trying to save his own hide. And look, he needs to. Because if there's anything to be honest about, Jeff Scott would like to still be the head coach when ground starts breaking on this new indoor facility that USF's building. And he would like to still be head coach when it's completed. So, I mean, that's why he did that. But, I mean, honestly, USF, I can tell you the truth, they're not going to beat BYU. They're not going to beat SMU. They're not going to beat Houston. They're not going to beat Cincinnati if they play Cincinnati this year, and they're definitely not beating UCF, regardless of if Dylan Gabriel plays or not. So that's my takeaway from USF. But for FAMU, honestly, go into the bye week, get healthy, get the guys ready to play that you need to get ready to play. Start breaking down Alabama State. Like I said, you're going to have a bye week and then like a whole nother week worth of film to just break down and focus on Alabama State. and just go from there. And then hopefully the MRIs are negative for Chris Fadul. And I just hope that it's not what I think it is for him. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But even if Fadul can't go, I do trust the punting abilities of Jose Romero Martinez, because I mean he looked pretty good. He was able to flip the field. It's just it sucks because you've got him performing double duty. Hopefully there's someone else that can punt too, that can flip a field or do it at least half the job Fadul does. Hopefully. Otherwise, you don't really want your kicker kicking field goals, kicking off, and punting. That's just too much. And it's unfortunate you can't do like the NFL does and you can't call up someone off the street. It just doesn't work that way in college ball. I wish it did in some instances, but it doesn't. So I mean, that's my takeaway. By the way, also too, I know it's coming across on the bottom line, but that Auburn Penn State game just went final. Auburn 20, Penn State 28. Um, dude, Auburn's got to fight. I don't think they're going to be SEC West champs. My opinion would have been different tonight if they had won this game, but they'll be okay. They'll be okay. But overall, I mean, if no one has any more questions, that's going to do it for me tonight. I hope you all enjoyed. Again, don't take this loss too bad. If honestly, if I'm a player in that locker room, I'm taking it. I'm pissed. But I mean, as a fan, you saw what you needed to see, and you got to feel good about what's to come coming out of the bye week. So that's the final. FAMU 38 or no, whoa, USF 38, FAMU 17. If you haven't already, y'all make sure y'all go follow that guy right there. Go follow that guy Flash right there. His name is like right there. Y'all go follow him. He's a pretty cool dude. If Ace comments, I would definitely say go follow him too. But also to follow us on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe there. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram at Throw Flags. To the three of you that are watching, go tell a friend, and then tell that friend, go tell a friend, and have them follow us and stuff. Let's keep building this thing. Also, the other viewer that just jumped in, you as well. Go tell someone else, and then just keep the chain going. Tell someone and tell someone and tell someone else. Let's keep building this thing up. But yeah, that's your final tonight. FAMU 17, USF 38. I'll see you after the bye week, or y'all tune into the Run and Gun podcast Wednesday night. We'll talk about it some more. But y'all have a nice night. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. And I will see you guys Wednesday.